Right, have it as word from the hire quote that is it, he hasn't actually wrote that in his quote.
Right. The lower quote, it's lower and it gives us what we need, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I second that.
So I can now tell you who the lower quote is. Oh, another proposal in a second there.
Yes, I will second
Well, I was proposing.
that.
Eric.
Do we know when we can do it?
I can contact them tomorrow or send them a bedtime message.
So that, who was that one? That was,
The lower quote.
J.A. Plummer.
Is that relevant? Does it matter?
Well, it doesn't matter, you might not know. But I do tell you once you know.
Yeah.
That is a fact, that's like 1,000.
No, that's, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we try and work our things between them, don't we?
Yeah, well, there is other things, but it's pretty good, isn't it?
As long as they can deal with that and they've got all the appropriate insurances and so on, then that's fine.
We need to see a copy of their insurances, their public liability insurances.
Okay, done on that one?
Yeah.
14.
Mm.
Nelson Road Green Space as a community garden or orchard.
So what we spoke
By the
about
way, just
earlier,
before we leave that, it might be, are we taking that sum out over the existing budget from this year's budget or is it next year's?
I think it will probably have to come out of projects because we're spent in the DNA budget that was.
Right, so is it going to be this year's or is it going to
Probably
be?
next year's because we'll be more back to April, will we?
No, it's going to be next year's budget.
So that'll be okay, won't it?
Well, yeah, all right, okay, as long as I know. It's in the line, then I'll just go, what do you think?
And that is a project.
Oh, yeah, yes.
So it'll come out.
so on the Nelson Green bit, that's what we spoke about earlier.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you did a grass seed bit, so this is what we do there after that.
Yeah, there is the idea that we're going to grass seed it, Kate Lee, the district councillor for the area, and who's also running this tree project with Woodland Trust. Because we both went up there today, I think she's got an idea that she's got some trees, you can just plant them along the edge.
Yeah.
But the bit will be just grassed over and yeah, I mean, you could put one of these sort of Japanese gardens up in Lincoln Road. But really, given what it is, the main thing is to clear off the rubble, stop any tipping up there, and just grass it over and put some suitable trees along the edge.
So would that be the full L shape of that?
Yes.
Seems sensible, doesn't it? Is that prone to vandalism and everything?
No one's done nothing since really, the waste has been cleared, we haven't had no more.
No, I was just thinking in terms of vulnerable saplings.
Well, there's a couple of small trees there already though, isn't there, and they haven't been damaged.
No, there's no sign of any waste returning there at all.
Nothing.
How big a bit of land is it? I
Um,
can't think where it is.
oh,
If you go to Sadler's Woods and you come all the way up the fields, it is the top field, and
Yeah, I know exactly where you are now. I had Freddie's garden back off, but I know where you are.
you sort of see the mucky bit where it's been cleared
We
off.
just
and-
cleared it all and made it look.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 loads of stuff in the tip there.
Has the grass will come back now after they put the train?
No. That's why we need to rake through it, get a box of seed over it.
yeah, I would have thought it's an area that a lot of people will go into, and it's more the other, right below.
It's mainly an area to walk through, it's not.
Mainly area to walk
loitering area, is it?
It just needs tidying up.
Yeah.
And it did belong to the district or something, and we just bought it for £1, so.
Yeah, well, they have a plan to make it to a dog area, or dog duty, wasn't it?
Don't know, previous- Anyway, leaving all that aside, just grass it over, put a few trees along the edge, tidy it up.
Leave it like that for a while.
So we're not going to do the garden or orchard, just put some trees in.
Trees, and I don't think that, I think to call it a garden or orchard is rather.
It would be really nice if we could at some point have some sort of community garden or something somewhere.
Yeah, no,
That would be a really lovely thing to
And the
have.
trees that get planted, you can be fruit trees, can't
Yeah, but I think if you wanted, because it's a walk through, if I was having a community garden, I'd put it somewhere else, I think, it's happened.
Okay, somewhere where you sort of go to rather than.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be, I mean, I'm not a great user of tablets, but that would be, but I think to have a community
We
garden,
could put a bench up
I
there,
was
couldn't
about to
we?
say, is that a place for our?
you could put a bench.
Not on nice community benches.
I mean, a community garden needs to be seen, so if you're walking through it, it'll be seen.
Got dog walkers go through there,
Yeah,
don't they?
it just reminds me about another bench. I don't know if you spotted it, in the post office yard, that little yard behind the post office, there's a decaying bench in there.
No, I didn't know, I didn't see how much rubbish was in there.
Well,
If I thought bench, right.
I'll just find out because it's just a jury, I don't know whose bench it is.
Right,
So if you plant some trees, well, there can be
So
fruit trees.
Yeah, so can be fruit trees, you can
I
have
know.
like
Not
a
cherry.
bench or something up there perhaps, might be nice.
cherries get too big, I don't know.
I don't know, talk to Kate, see what she can get.
And then we could sort of call it a fruit,
Apples, plums.
apples, pears.
I mean, if you wanted to get slightly more, then you could, then the town council would have to purchase them, but that's up to town council.
Well,
We'll plant little ones and then just see, but we'll just see
But we're
if
we're
it's,
clear it, we're passed it over.
we're getting there, I mean, later on we
Talk
could.
to Kate and see what she's got in mind.
plant some whips, see if they,
Yeah,
see
that's
if they survive
she's
and
got.
don't get pulled up and thrown around the place. If that's the case, there's some more money in it thereafter.
Yeah.
See if people, monitor and people go through it, people say anything.
In the meantime, I'll find out what that bench is in there.
Right, we okay with that one?
Yeah.
Is it all the discarded, like, post really things?
Oh, the post office just used it as a junkyard.
Yeah, I did notice.
Right, moving on then, 15, 2 no fly tipping signs for the same piece of ground. At a cost of 20 quid each.
I don't know what it's in, just in case.
Well, we'll make one permission to, should we put them there?
I'm not sure we want to do it yet, because there's no.
If we're not getting flighted.
Mm.
Just wait until we do.
Yeah, that's all historic.
Yeah, that's
All
right, yeah.
historic stuff.
Well, that wasn't historic, that was there, because there's been 2 clearances on there, hasn't there, in like the last year, like Jordan did like 1 clearance, and then he came back and done the other clearance early this year, didn't he?
I thought that was.
On that road, but on that second bit, you could see where someone had left their new hedge clippings on there, hadn't they? So it is like a wait and see if that happens again.
But I think they just thought that was a dumping ground, but
Yeah,
now we've
yeah.
cleared it,
That's
people
it.
probably will respect it a bit longer.
Clear it, grass it.
We'll wait
Put
until you get
put
some
whips
trees
in and then
in.
see what happens thereafter.
Yeah, if you've got mow the grass there, the people are less likely to.
That's right.
touch them.
So we'll 15, we'll just we'll leave it pending for the moment and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
16, replacing rotten notice boards within the cemetery. Is that
Yeah.
So are these the one, what actually goes in those notice boards? Or what would go there?
I would put my genders and stuff in there.
Oh, that's what notice board, not cemetery notice.
Well,
Well, a cemetery, but
we
we don't promote the agendas and we only put them up here, and I think we should.
in the board in there at the moment, you've got like, we can't actually get into anymore because they are that sort of in bad condition. But we have like the map in there of the cemetery, so people can use the key to try if they know a location plot, like how it goes like GG46 and how that works like that.
We want to put in there about the reefs, we
Yeah,
can put them in
the reef
because-
clearance, how we like clear them at the beginning of February. And like we also have some other posters that we sometimes like we're always happy to take unwanted bulbs.
We could put our health and safety notices in
Yeah.
there and
Yeah,
just.
so basically it's a cemetery notice board, but we also have general.
Yeah, so we should put our agendas in there and just, because we don't promote ourselves well enough for a bit to go.
how much replacing?
Well, there's prices.
It's 918, 815, 873.
It's quote C one is a little better, it's the green.
I like the
They're all green, well, they can all be green.
Okay,
I like the last
That's what
one.
they said.
sorry.
I like the last one.
Is the glass on the bottom one? Or is that?
See,
So like
wasn't it?
our ones that you just lift up.
I couldn't see it in the picture, whether.
And that one is 2 doors, this one is one that you just open up, and then that's the top one.
Yeah, a bit better, not putting it was in black and white, but. Yeah, I like the last one.
No, it's the mid-range, isn't it? So not the cheapest, not the most expensive.
That's what it look like the cemetery signs that are out there, the new ones that we've got.
So they would put our logo,
The
We're talking
Two.
one for each gate, so 3, or,
Well, there's only 2 in the cemeteries at the moment.
there's 3 entrances.
Yeah, well, that's up to your decisions really, but at the moment we have 2.
and these are metal so that they won't,
Ah, right, hence the price, that makes sense.
Because then,
Oh, yeah, no,
they're
absolutely.
better
yeah.
off than that, we're talking
I
about.
agree with the wooden one.
I don't really know which is the main entrance to the chapel cemetery.
At the moment, it's the chapel cemetery, back on, that one is at Backton Road end of that. And then the other one is sort of just inside the north-south side.
I suppose the 2 Backton Road entrances would make sense, I suppose.
Would we need 2 lots of agendas on Backton Road then?
Well,
If they're actually in the church, actually in the entrance.
And the other one is on Backton Road, that people walk past. isn't
no,
it?
they're both inside the cemetery
Oh,
grounds.
are they?
Yeah.
So you're not going to get passers by stopping to look at it. Doesn't really, you can't put it there.
Mm. The cemetery is open all daytime, isn't it?
A lot of people go there, a lot of people visit there,
A
don't
lot of
they?
people pass through the chapel side.
If the sign's there, it's got the bottom tank has the top, then people
Yeah.
might they go.
Well, they look, a lot of people look at this one, don't they? But there are other people's little adverts and stuff, so if you could fill it full, like you do with Dealer, then just being good people. isn't it?
Well, I suppose we get 2 of those then.
I'll second it.
Say, second.
I don't know how they'll fit them, I think you might have to fit them, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a supply area. I should do.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the expensive.
17, discussing the DDA report, lighting and signage.
Well, the chapel, we've put more lighting in, haven't we, since
Yep.
it's been? So
Yep.
that one's been done, lighting.
I think only one more sign on the compound side, there's probably just one sign for start, and that's like a meeting point for evacuation, really, just on the outside of the gate.
Is that what you're talking about?
Not of course, specifically, it's not. I did have a quick look at it, but,
Have we used these people before?
Yeah.
Okay.
We used them for King's Arm Street.
I just found their reports
Very
are
hard.
tedious, tiresome and difficult.
Yeah.
I'm used to having an exec summary and something
Yes,
like that,
kind of
which gives you, these are the things you actually need to do,
Yeah.
crack on with those and read the rest of the report if you want more background. And it
That's
wasn't.
very hard to find people to do these,
Okay, all right.
That's what I was told to give.
No, not, I'm just,
But you're right,
By
I'm
comparison.
that one that we've got to do.
Yeah, because you think that would be recommendations, wouldn't you?
exactly that, that's.
cover all scenarios.
Yeah, it's indeed.
I'm very good, won't it?
So what have we got to do? What do we need to do?
Well, we need to check the lighting, which was done in the Chapel Road. I mean, the best thing for you to do is just leave it, say, you've got health and safety, I've got, and then I can make sure that I get whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to propose that you deal with the recommendations of those reports.
Yeah.
So there we go. You can read through the tires of
Let's hope for a break today.
And second,
On the chapel, it says there's no signs for fire escape exit signs.
yeah, that's what you were saying, didn't you?
So it's pretty stacked up.
It's that thing with man light splinters.
Yeah, the
Just
lights
get
and
some
the thing,
new.
yeah, and probably the chapel actually, that now after speaking of that, it's like, what's that, Sayer, what's his name?
Not safe.
Yeah, probably put actually emergency lighting in there as well, I think it's just, it goes in with that whole, I know it's such a small building to get out of, you know, you can see.
What, the chapel, not the chapel centre?
The
the
chapel
chapel,
doesn't
because
have
it'd be
emergency lighting.
It should do probably, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, well, the house said it would be used in darkness,
But we have to be compliant.
That's it.
and the same with, general lighting in there.
Well, it's great now, if you come there now, the general lighting, he's put the marks there, has put like different strip lights all the way around, he's changed the lights in, like the WC and our little heating room.
Right, we'll look through the reports more, or James and me will, and then we'll just get them done. So if you need emergency light, I don't think that'll be that expensive, will it?
It is.
So proposed,
It's probably like 2 lights or something like that, what's on the emergency light circuit.
okay.
Okay, perfect. 18. Discuss and agree getting some new signage for Trackside Park as discussed in full council meeting. Okay, no dogs in the skate park. No motorbikes. Wow, we had some motorbikes. Bringing across there. Okay.
Well, little bitty motorbikes.
Or are there those electric things or something like that, possibly, I'm not sure.
Do we have to do no skateboards in the dog park?
Yeah, I didn't know no dogs weren't allowed in the skate park.
There was signs there previously, they've actually been destroyed.
It's
haven't they?
dangerous apart from the else, isn't it? Dogs running in front of.
And so, and there was a local,
I often see
a
people
dog
who-
stuck in the pole, wasn't there?
Ah,
Not
I understand it not on, they've got to be kept on a lead, but I often see people with their dog and a child on a skateboard.
They do.
So they take the,
Is the idea therefore that dogs should only be in a fenced area down the bottom near the railway bridge?
Well, I think this is more, maybe dogs on the concrete skate park.
Maybe
oh, on that bit, yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
I was thinking in that whole
Yeah,
area.
exactly.
Can you just not say, please keep your dog on the lead in that
Yeah,
area?
I
Because
think
if you have a family and you're going there to skate
Yeah,
park
that's
and you
what-
have a dog, keep it on the
Dogs
lead.
on the lead in skate park.
Yeah, rather than completely say no,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you'll never police that.
That's it.
We
Yeah.
have some signs about it anyway,
They were
especially
destroyed.
stuff like it.
Yeah, they were destroyed off there.
I'll
Yeah.
just get a new bar, a new motorbikes. I think that what they are, because I've seen something happen before, they get them little, off-road bikes, don't they, them little
Well, it's a little, you get electric ones now.
electric
all
bikes
sorts of
and people
things.
take them and then they don't pay, so they
There's already a sign, the skateboard park as a whole with a list of rules, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably it mentions these things, so I really want to use the same words.
Does it mention about
I'll
motorbikes?
take a picture and send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, so that's
So maybe
okay,
have
we'll do that.
those screwed to the side of the skateboard, concrete rather than on a post.
Well, or on the gate really for motorbikes, isn't it? 'Cause you don't want one to come in at all, do you?
I'm sure having a sign won't stop.
Rumble strip and.
Okay, so proposed by Bob, what can I do with that, and second by?
Well, getting more exciting now. Number 19. Discussing purchasing a new lawnmower.
I wasn't clear what sort of mower this is the tractor mower or?
No. At the moment, I don't know how well they did quotes, so I haven't seen, I know what I asked for. North Fortune Garden Centre. Yeah, because we've got a Toro there, yeah, and it's an all-terrain mower, it sort of takes a hard cut as well in the rougher areas, but we use on verges, some of the sides of the pathways that we maintain going towards Oak Road from Trackside Park and that sort of area. So it's like an all-wheel drive, as they call it. The estimate figure to repair is 435, and so it was quite a lot of money, so I brought it to the council anyway, because then there was alternatives, as you can see.
This was the one that needed welding in some place, wasn't it? This was the bit to repair it.
Oh, yes,
Some
that's
welding.
yeah, include welding of the deck where it has fractured at the discharge.
I mean, but the cost is around £435, so you
Yeah,
get it serviced and repaired. The issue for me was it's quite a lot. Is this an annual cost? And
I
if
don't
you
think
bought-
it's been serviced properly before.
that Toro has been used by the ground staff before my start here, which is about 6 years now. You just look at a time frame of how long machines are useful like that for.
Right, I mean, if you bought a new one, what kind of repair costs or service costs would you be paying moving forward? Does it have to be serviced every year?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years. And then you're looking at oil
But in the past, these have never been serviced
professionally.
professionally.
Right. So
That's probably why that is that cost.
So
Yeah, and it was
probably
never-
for a routine service on the two, we're talking about on the road.
Yeah.
And we need to be getting our vehicles.
And this is 6 years old.
But over that,
Over that. So it could break down again next year.
I'd probably say you're looking at 8 to 10 years. This thing, really, however long they purchased it when they took on
What is the life of these machines? Jim?
These ones that would have been quoted on professional use, and which that one would have been as well when it was first. The lifetime is about 6 years.
This would come out of our new vehicles.
The
Yeah,
reason
we got
why that
budget,
fracture
we got
probably wasn't found because it wasn't professionally inspected.
You don't know actually how long that's been like that, do you?
Since my time, it's belt driven on the pulley with cut, and it's always that's probably partially the reason why it throws the belts off onto the shaft and you just get the smell of burnt rubber.
I mean, my instinct is that you'd be better off starting fresh, get a new one. It's getting towards the end of its life, leaving aside it's not been properly maintained. I mean, for 935, it's half the cost.
And you probably have to pay that again if it's, vehicles don't
And
last a certain long
so-
time.
Is there any value in the old one?
Well, if you look on these quotes, there is a trade-in discount anyway from 969 down to 825,
Okay.
or from 999, well, £1,000 down to 850.
So curious, huh?
So you could get
That's
150 quid off
That's
it,
not
That's
bad.
good, isn't
no, that's it.
chop it in,
I
start
wouldn't
fresh, have the
know
stuff
which
looked
one's best
after.
until I actually looked at it. Like I said, he made this quote for me and give me the idea of the two. I've got to go and see him anyway. So there's one more ride on mower to take in there to be serviced. That's one I was using for leaf collecting. And I was going to put the whole leaf collecting kit into
That's a suit the
service as well.
recycler or the recycler.
Well,
They're both Toro,
They're slightly in widths as well, aren't they? The second one's slightly down.
2 centimetres different.
What, and they 30 quid different?
Yeah, something like that.
so that,
The cheaper one looks more entertaining to me, to be fair.
No,
Yeah. It
You
just
decide.
says all-wheel drive, and that's what the other one that I use.
so
So
can we agree £850 then as the budget to swap this in?
Yeah.
and that
And
way
leave it
it's
to you to decide which one is the best value and best suits
the
your
needs, yeah.
needs.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Proposed by Paul, second by
And
Eric.
then
And then you decide which one you want.
you decide which
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
when that means you get rid of the
New
old.
vehicles, is that budgeted or is that out of reserves?
That's reserves, because it's for new vehicles, isn't it? Before the Gator and then.
Right, okay.
All in favour?
I'm not getting, you've got money there, I just need to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
We can use the word
To do well,
Yeah,
Eric.
yeah, I need to, but I
Shall
mean,
we
it's like
ask
cemetery projects, so, I'm quite happy to improve the cemetery because it's a defined budget, it's not,
Well, when we do all the trees in the cemetery, can that come out of that budget then?
well, it's a capital budget. and I
No,
don't
no,
know-
no, because that's capital, we can only do something capital.
Maintenance is not capital.
I found something we need to spend.
Good try.
Item 20,
Right,
bollards.
this is the bollards, right? So there is a bollard outside. Stop it. Outside, there's a bollard outside the travel agents. So it is, and the next metre is 12 foot wide between there, the entrance of the church
Yeah.
yard is 12 foot wide. And there's a bollard here, so it's just to continue, and bollards going across with a padlock, removable bollards that we have in the marketplace.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I went there to discuss this with the church, there was a group 4 van parked right outside the travel agents, and he was going to Santander.
Yeah.
So if there had been a funeral, that hearse could not have pulled up there. There was nowhere for the hearse to pull up.
No, it's all shared service now.
Because,
they don't have to.
to
pay.
right
I
cover-
wouldn't really change that because if there was a funeral, the bollards had been removed and you might have gone and parked it in.
But the bollards there will stop people park
Yeah,
on that
the reason
pavement.
there aren't any is to leave space for nurses to pull up, that's why there's a gap left.
They always used to put cones there.
Yeah.
Black cones.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is that we'll have a list of the funerals and then like I said, James, oh, there's a funeral.
So we can-
got
we
to
can
follow
get-
that.
Removable bars that match the ones that
Oh,
are
yes, we
concrete.
can, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but
those on the other side, there is a lot of removable ones anyway.
There is, there's a lot of padlocks missing, by the way.
Get some padlocks.
Um,
They keep going missing, don't they? 'Cause we bought a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Trailers obviously don't put them
Right.
down. Those three would have to be done by highways.
Yeah, that's all got to be done. Well, yeah, even I'd ask
Well,
highways if
well,
they could
well,
do this one.
Yeah.
And I'd have to get permission. No, I'd have to get permission.
No, but would our highways likely to be agreeable?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, and what's the cost?
I haven't got a cost yet because I don't know if we could. I've just got to go on source where these bollards come from.
Yeah.
I've got to
okay.
speak to them.
So why don't we agree that we investigate further and bring it back?
Yeah, and then this one here. So I can find out, you agree on this one, and can I take it to full council? Yeah.
I wouldn't put a price,
Yeah.
But well, if you don't get a quote from Tarmac or someone who for installing them,
Yeah, do you reckon that would talk to Tarmac down there at the moment then?
could
They're right.
they're expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Aren't
But
they?
that's what we
First
have to
one
use,
try.
don't we?
Yes, yeah, we'll have to say. So it won't be a cheap project, worth doing.
Well, it's worth, it's worth doing the one in the churchyard anyway, isn't
Definitely
it, to
that,
stop
yeah,
them?
yeah. And obviously we can do that if we want to do. And the other three will be highways.
I'll get a price and see how much it is, but yeah, it would make it a
Yeah, if the three,
You're at the court, so you're.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I wasn't panicking.
if the other three are an outlandish price, we can still do the one
Yeah.
in the church.
So that was 21, quote for a concrete pad at the container.
So how big a pad was that?
No, they get those quotes.
2 metre square or something?
Well, this is
Container
number
sounds like-
21, not 20.
Should I say 20?
Confused. No, I should put 20.
Yeah, it sounds like some trendy nightclubs, isn't it? Well, let's not all go to the container.
Defence container is an ISO container.
So this is
Mr.
the container down at the Muncie Road end of the.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and it's just easier to get the chairs
Yeah, of
and
course,
the
yeah.
tables.
That's really difficult on your own to do anything down there with that because it's you drop the tail lift and you're in such a tight gap to get that tail lift into it because you can't drop anything out onto there because there was some pictures.
Yeah, it's very uneven.
Yeah, it's just rough ground.
Okay.
Have you got that?
Yeah, 2 quotes are
Okay.
on.
2 quotes. And I think that's what my views on that.
Yeah, you can put your recommendations.
Well, my recommendation is to go for the lower one.
Was it 1,200 doesn't actually say how big it is, though.
Sure. Yeah, but there's.
See, all these prices are
Ah.
on our labels budget now. 'cause we
You just
won't
can't
pay
move the
for it.
wheels on that sort of ground.
This
It's
is,
all.
this is.
No, I understand, so this is hard.
This is
It's the
capital.
same.
Well, this
Yeah,
could be capital because it's in the cemetery.
Right, well, it comes out capital, it's cemetery projects.
Yeah.
But so what was your recommendation? Which quote?
1450.
I don't want for that much.
Well, 0.74.
No, we haven't got one.
Yeah.
We've got 1208 net, a net.
Well, this one here.
We're looking at net, not that.
We don't pay VAT.
That's not good.
1200.
And it's the appropriate size that you want, is it, whatever that might be.
After speaking to him, yeah, like I said, that wide and square, so it should be, I think the container is 8.8 feet wide.
Yeah.
So that'd be a square of 8.8.
Yes, so it's about 3 metre square or something.
So it just helps us get the chairs out,
Yeah,
the
well,
tables
yeah,
out,
you bring
and
it
stuff
down, you get
in
the tail
there.
lift onto the edge of there and everything.
Always better to
Containers
go
are
on.
concrete to towel lift,
Yeah,
and the same in reverse.
And then I'll just make, where you see like the little lip of the container there, I'll just make a sort of wooden ramp between it, so you push it all into it.
Okay, proposed by
Lovely.
22, back to trees.
This is the last tree, I think.
No.
So all the dead trees, and I have a big problem with health and safety for
And
keeping dead trees up.
his quote on that is everything in there, everything, he quoted it, because we are lacking person power on the ground team.
So to do everything.
To do everything that Phil Scott has wrote in the report that needs addressing,
There's all the red items.
everything, not even the red, not just red,
Oh, right.
everything.
Everything. I didn't realise it was everything. Everything
yeah,
that needs some
that's-
attention
He
to.
said, after,
Well, for 5,000, that's,
It's good enough.
Yeah, it's quite a lot there, isn't it?
yeah,
But
So-
then tree reports come out every year and nothing is done.
there isn't a lot.
And I have a big problem
Well,
with health and
we
safety.
change that now.
Yeah,
We've got a report, let's try and bring what we need to.
I mean, the simple fact is, if there's something dangerous and it's notified to us,
And
and
we
we
do
don't,
nothing.
and we don't act on it, the insurance people will query what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if a member of the public or a work person was injured as a result of it, then they might not pay out. And then we're stuck.
Well, that's why National Trust
Did,
shuts,
he-
doesn't it, at a
did he
certain
talk
time an
about
hour.
Maybe leaving some as models, or leaving the,
He hasn't said that, that's all, yeah.
I read it somewhere.
It may be in the report, it's whatever. it's
Whatever's
to
in the
follow
report needs to follow the report.
Yeah, look, there's even down to like, parts of it on Woodville Park, I believe, like removing some ivy, and he would be doing every step as instructed in Phil Scott's report.
There's no point in keep having reports if you don't act on them.
Well, no, it just,
Yeah.
makes us liable.
Yeah, he's-
Yeah, absolutely.
He's quoted, he's got with the tree report that says monolith, it's 2 metres.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
if that, yeah.
just sort of cutting the top off, it's leaving a.
Yeah, that's it, taking any side branch that's below that, even that 2 metres as well.
Yeah, so leave something there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Monolith is a word.
But that would obviously be paid in April.
That's fine, that's fine, I mean,
and
you
that
know,
also includes the
all in
work
favour of
on the
doing
Copper
this
Beach in
stuff.
front of the chapel, which is a
We've
big,
got
big
money to
job actually.
spend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's propose just getting that stuff done as per the quote.
Yeah.
Proposed
Yeah.
by Paul, second by Helen.
If we don't do these things, we'd be placed in a very vulnerable position.
It's worse than that, because you keep paying money out to get somebody to do a survey for you, on
Yeah.
the shelf.
Yeah.
That just
That's
makes,
Yeah.
just makes it even worse.
Yeah, precisely.
Right, 24.
Dead trees are 23,
23.
24, new housing and trackside removal of trees.
Where is this path? That was my first question.
Well, you know, I was meant to take a picture, but you know where we are. So, you know where they're making the crossing across the Norwich Road? And there's a gate there,
Yeah.
so that's making a path over that hump, but to
Yeah.
reduce the path. So what is the point of having a crossing into the skate park, and a crossing from the skate park a bit River Road, and then you've got to go through and
Well, that's
into
a
the...
dangerous hands anyway, going over that, even because.
So they're going to make it nice and then put a gate in like this.
Well, the gate is there, that's
Yeah.
on the outside to stop anyone running
Yeah.
straight out into the traffic.
So the path would be in the park, no on the verge.
Yeah.
Be into to make it straight through, because other than that, you have to go through a
Big,
hump,
having
and there's
trees.
no...
When, how far is that path going? There's nothing to join up to, is there?
Yeah,
It should be in the quotes to join the path to the corner of the skate park.
All right, okay.
So we've got to have some trees removed, which is okay, because you spoke to Phil Scott about removing the 5 trees for that.
Yeah, and the quotes is separate there from,
£825 from the tree man to remove those trees. But if we're going to start using that event, if we're going to use it as an event, which we will, we
Yeah.
want something over that side of the town, we've got an event in
Yeah, and
September.
that's what the crossing
And
of
it'll just,
Beach.
and the crossing needed to, and
I know
highways and
the,
putting the crossing
I know the
in.
grass outside is now.
we do maintain
Would
that.
be sensible for that path to continue up to the highway path, wouldn't it? Otherwise we'll walk across.
Well,
the grass.
you can get to that, there's a pathway that goes along there and it's what does meet
Yeah, but isn't there a bit of grass between the highway path and their boundary?
Not really, because they're sort of what they call it, bind gravel path along the sort of bypass side of the park, and that leads down to the tarmac path. Our gate comes out straight onto that bind gravel path that leads out down to there, and that's why we would put as one of the choice of barriers, sort of like, I don't know, 2 metres in front of the gate.
Yeah, to stop people running out.
It's almost struck me as odd to come off that bound gravel onto a bit of thing, at an angle like that, and that's where you're supposed to stop.
Mm.
You have cycling, hammering on there cycling. It's
So will that stop all this then?
That barrier
Apparently will stop it, won't it?
will stop anyone coming straight out of our park on that corner gate,
Yeah.
and just flying straight into the
So
road.
that barrier is outside that area.
Yeah,
So that's on highway then, really.
is it? Well, it needs to be addressed into really to look at if it's on highway and whoever owns
Well, you could have it
that.
on the inside. You don't have to have it on the highway side, because it's, the main thing is as they get to the gate, they can't just go straight through and,
True.
Could be enough, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
It's just to stop,
yeah, you
because
can.
once you've got a path, at the moment you've got the hill to stop,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
Once you've got a path.
you
Yeah.
an opening like that and
then
something
just comes-
wide up the
When you come over that gate opens into the park anyway.
So, yeah, you just want to stop people just going straight out of the park and onto the highway.
So you're removing the gate completely?
No.
No, the gates.
So where that corner gate is,
Yeah,
you've got a large mound with all the trees that come around that sort of
Yeah.
perimeter on the inside of the park. And there's 5 trees that need to be removed to make the path through the mound.
but from the barrier and the gate. So you just put a barrier in front of a gate?
The first option is to put the barrier outside the perimeter of the park, near the binded gravel path. That was the options that were first laid out in 4. You've now mentioned maybe we could put it on the inside, so it is on our land.
But then there is a gate, but the gate is sometimes left open, isn't
Well, that's
it?
wedged open because of that ground and how it is
It's
now.
Oh, right, so the gate's
It has got a proper closure on it.
But it is usually
You couldn't
left
ram it into the soil.
So having a barrier there, because the gate is usually left open. If the gate was always closed, well, you wouldn't need a barrier.
No.
Unless you had a gate that automatically closed,
Ours does. Ours has got a
but it's
closure.
wedged, why is it wedged open?
Because of the ground around it. That's why if that path was taken wide enough, which they would do.
So would we need this then? We wouldn't need this then if the gate automatically shuts?
People can still wedge it open, can't they? Or, because
Well, they could.
They'll get fed up with going through it and leave it open.
They could wedge it open. Like there's a pathway in our quotes here for buying the gravel tarmac. You wouldn't be able to very wedge it open as such unless you sort of force something underneath like that.
Well, you could put a notice up, so the gate must remain closed. Whether we can leave it, we
People
do.
are recycling.
Well, I mean, my view would be is put the path in, make sure the gate is closed as a result automatically, see how we go.
What highways doing on that corner with these works? Is there any, because ordinarily you have at least, when you have across
I know.
the tactiles, you normally have at least
I think there should be
a
because
barrier one or other side, don't need to funnel people through.
Yeah, the barriers on the highway, on the curb line,
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is
Sanctuary islands,
if that barrier they're putting on the curb line is in line with our gate anyway, somebody coming out is going to hit something, not going to
That's
be
why
able to.
people come whizzing out, because, straight across the pedestrian crossing without waiting for the lights.
But we could wait for this bit, couldn't we, and
Well, you
see
can add
when,
that later.
add that later and see what happens when the highways is finished and then go back to add this bit in,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
let's go for the path.
And then just see if the gate is wedged open or, yeah, so we can think about this later, the barriers later and just go for the path.
So if you're looking at the quotes, they seem to be quoting, the 2 quotes seem to be quoting the same product, but one to twice the price.
Why is that? We didn't know when that was, did we?
no, well, that one there with the additional asphalt.
So when you say option for asphalt finish additional 3665, is that on top of
Yeah.
Grade B? That's on top of Grade B. So that bit's up to
So I don't think we need it to be
17,000.
I think the stone path would be sufficient, I think.
But do you know why? I don't know why that was so different, do you?
No.
You met them both.
Well, I met them explain to each person what was required of this project.
But you probably somebody didn't want to do the job, so they just don't.
Well, go for the quota. There's a lot of difference between 6,300.
But this will be project money, won't it? Project.
This would be new projects.
Creation.
Unless there's a budget in there that would cover this, but it's really new projects.
I propose we accept quote A then.
And it comes out of new projects. Good reserve.
Seconded.
Second, all in favour? Okay, again, you go ahead and do.
Right, 24, booking systems for the tennis courts.
Looking at that, person who wants. So, there is a system where you can have, I have had a bit of a look, and you can do it on an app.
Yeah, you basically, there's a lock on the gate, a commercial lock, we have to lock the floor. And the PIN code actually get issued
By an app.
by text message from an app. So it's a bit like a bank card, we
Yeah.
do algorithms, so it works. So
Fine, so it's a different code for each booking then.
every time, so,
Fine, okay.
so I'm not sure whether it means that someone here has got to say, Paul, you can have it from 2 till 3 tomorrow, and here's your number, or whether it's the system can generate the number. Because obviously if it relies on a person, we can only take bookings in the morning.
But we are in the office all day.
Till
Well, no, you can
I don't know, we've got evenings as well, haven't we? So summer evenings, people might say, I fancy playing tennis.
What
But
you
we
want
have
is
work phones.
something like the car club things, isn't it, where you go online, you book your slot, they send you confirmation, then you get given the
That's
code when you go.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of thing, and the people who make it do a whole range of products like that all over the world, so I'm sure it'll be something we can do.
What you want to do is take the human out of it.
Because what generated this partly is someone wants to do tennis coaching on there, and they need to have a guaranteed slot on there.
Yes.
And equally, tennis users in the past have asked for this because
They want to play
else there or
2:30 on
or
Tuesday
bikes or something.
afternoon, yeah.
So most tennis people use Club Spark, so that is a program on your website that they go in, book it, and then that gives them a code.
Okay, let's
That's
do that.
what Chrome use, but this is different to what
Well,
you've got, isn't
Well,
it?
it's similar to that,
It's very
if you book a slot and they send you a code, so I'm hoping it can be an automatic system. Because you don't want to be having people ring you up on your work phone at 7 on a summer's evening on your
No.
phone, yeah. So,
That was only to discuss options, so can we agree that this is what we're going to do? It's just that Jack keeps phoning me every single day because he wants to start promoting that he can do coaching, and I think coaching is a really good
we can
idea.
speak to that firm to see if they do something, automatic
Yeah, okay.
generation. Because I mean, the actual lock was only a couple £100,
Yeah.
and the app was not very much, so I don't think it's an expensive thing. Often fitting the lock, it's,
Do the electricity?
it's back,
Oh, is it? Okay.
and it's a couple of
So where would the app be then? You
maybe a computer somewhere.
on our computer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll speak to them and we'll agree to it.
If we hold it on the computer, accessible via our website.
We could have a QR code, couldn't we? Here's a QR code, here's a thing, go and do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, all you don't have to have that
Well,
on
all you
your
want
phone.
is a QR code or something, but something just doesn't come along. They can't, if the guy's got it for coaching, they don't need to, somebody else just automatically can't get the lock open.
No, like he'd already have the slot, so.
Because they've got it stopped.
Yeah, you get
There is no human.
a unique
Okay.
code.
But if they want to, somebody wants to play at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, they can use the QR code and slowly they're automatically given a code on the gate open.
Or they can ring up, during office hours, they can ring the office up.
There's no charge to use the tennis court.
No, completely free, and they're open, and people were roller skating in there the other day. I have got a quote to have them cleaned, I would, because it's health and safety, I will go ahead and automatically get them cleaned,
Yes.
because they need to be cleaned, they're quite dangerous.
Or it's not lost, so.
Yeah, just they need to be professionally
I thought
cleaned.
they were really clean when I went out there.
But
You'll see it.
they
in
are,
some
they have to be
libraries,
cleaned
it sort of
because they.
glows up, you do see it.
Yeah.
Is that because of the tree?
Especially on the lower end where the tree does overhang.
They do need to be regularly cleaned.
It was only painted a couple of years ago.
There's a tube that comes under the pathway and faces.
What is the French drain?
Is that what it is, a French drain?
Well, around the edge of all the ground.
Well, there's a where the bank comes high on the tennis
Yeah.
court, and you've got that black.
I'm not sure where that sort of clay like comes from or goes to, but that's the French drain area, isn't it, around the edge?
So it just goes straight out onto the tennis courts.
Comes away.
Can I do that? Can I go ahead and get that done then? I don't think that's very expensive.
Sorted.
Proposed by Bob, you found one, is that
Yeah.
Bob? Second by Bob?
Yep.
I think they weren't very expensive, was it, Bob? It was-
I think they'll probably be used more because of that.
We should promote it, I mean, we don't promote that.
Well, I didn't know it was free, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm-
Cleaning it's also important that it's a central booking system to encourage people to go.
Yeah, I think people can go and know it's their slot, no one's gonna come along and
Yeah.
disturb them, I think that might be.
Okay, 25, items for the next agenda, or 8 items for discussion.
And the flags, wet license
Flags.
options for NDC, so I will put that on.
Okay, Bobcat extension arm.
We're looking at modifying our digger, what we mainly use for grave digging.
Okay,
It's not quite perfect. I mean, there's still a lot of manual work in grave digging as well. We're
I'm
looking
not
at trying
paying, yeah.
to
Health and safety.
limit it even more and take away.
They have to dig it by hand.
Well,
don't they?
yeah.
When you
It's
dig
not
in
very
long, far in, you get a radius of what you're digging in, so that last little wedge at the end, you can't
okay.
It's not good for.
So it could be a longer arm, or it could
Or an
be
attachment.
a different bucket to,
Yeah.
or change the angle of the bucket for the last bit, so you
This
can.
is so you can get a square corner as opposed to.
Yeah, that's it, that's quite the far end.
It's time effective, isn't it,
Yeah.
because it's costing extra, I don't know,
So the
3
answer,
hours for somebody to dig it with, it would probably take about 10 minutes with an arm.
so the answer is yes, look into how
Yeah.
much
Well,
it
we
costs to
are
bring it back.
getting some
I've
ideas.
started to look into it. You're the first person who wants to sell us a whole new digger and attachments.
Not surprising. Okay.
Oh, the benches area, the wet pool, we'll just come back
Yeah.
with some quotes for that. And the park lighting, which is on, that's already on the,
The lighting around the outside of the memorial garden.
yeah, which was on my batch,
So
so
it's
to get some quotes.
The bit from Hoppy's turn right down to.
So that's where we said it might be a problem with burying the cable because of tree roots.
Yeah.
You could take the cable around on the fence and then garden could conduit and ground level, but
Yeah.
against the
I
fence.
mean, you need to swap out the electricity because property system, well, electricity. Street lights,
So we already agreed to sort that out.
I haven't just got round to doing it yet.
That
We could do that that time,
Yeah.
couldn't we? Yeah. Just, yeah. What was something else I was going to bring up?
When we were talking about future projects last time, we talked about water supply at
The cemetery, didn't we?
so that needs to be looked at.
What height?
Because obviously Blue has
Hydraulic.
direct interest, but the town council is very vulnerable that the private supplier, where we go, if for some reason the boats are extremely good, but if for some reason we can't use it, we're stopped.
But we would use it a lot, wouldn't we?
But
The
it's,
hydraulic.
but high pressure water, or whatever you want to call it, would be, it's also can be used by the town council.
Mhm.
So there's probably these parking area water drop, isn't it? Because it needs to have a bigger connection off the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a connection off. I mean, the quote for doing it, when the district council indicated they were going to do it, put one by the new road toilets, was about 6,000. About 6,000. which is mainly,
Is that, could they then, if Angry Water come in, could they connect a toilet to the, could they connect the
Well-
toilet when they're doing that then?
Well, you're looking at drainage instead then, really, aren't you? Which is like
Oh,
the
that's different.
exit of water, isn't it?
yeah.
Rather than,
I mean,
Pretty
the other
clean
advantage is the water container that North Walsham have. Well, that could be parked up in the memorial in the compound, and that could be used by the town council as well, rather than just by us.
Yeah.
So there is some uses that can be done.
I think we get a quote from Angry Water for
I
fixture connection or whatever.
mean, you might have
That's
to.
through the gate, but then we've got a quote from someone else to do the work inside.
Yeah, there's the pipe work, now whether the pipe work from the gate up to the compound is sufficient to take high pressure water or whether.
That needs to be, well, we need a large amount of pressure is the pressure, when
You
the
wouldn't-
pressure in main is all there is, you can't get more than that, so you
So
have
it's-
bigger diameters to get the flow.
Right, at the end,
Yeah, so
it's in the
there's
compound.
probably a 25 mil pipe coming off the main now, so you'll have 32 mil or 50 mil, or it's probably too big.
Well, coming off from the road or from the compound?
From the main.
From the main, yeah.
The road, so you'd have to replace the existing,
Yes.
yeah, right, I'm with you.
So,
Sorry, I just
yeah, so
don't
that'd be,
know technicality.
the expenses of digging the road and all the rest of it. But, you know, they do that to a metre inside our gates, and then someone else can do the.
Oh, right, I see,
Yeah.
so, yes, right, I'm with you. It wouldn't, I mean, all I'm saying is that it's a long-term investment, and the attraction financially at the moment, it comes out of cemetery projects.
Could you help me with doing that then,
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
Evergreen Water, because you obviously know a bit
I
more.
mean, I'm just not familiar with the engineering side of it at all.
I suppose what you need to do is tell us how many minutes you want to fill your house around.
yeah,
We might look like this size to the people.
Well,
That's it.
well, it's, right, if you want some details, I can,
Well, obviously, just look as quick as possible.
You know, to have it for the
thousands a
summer.
minute, yeah.
well, it takes 1,000 litres to Bowser. So providing it's filled up in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I don't think anybody's too bothered.
You might run the rest of the town dry.
Well,
Low water pressure.
When you help me with that, really, well, thank you.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes to fill Bowser up. I mean,
I think in terms of the Angry Water, putting a bigger connection and bringing it in, I don't think it really makes much difference what size the pipe is.
right, okay.
That's not really the cost, is it? It's just a bit of pipe. So,
Right, it's
so it might be better to have a 2-inch pipe or something.
right.
We can see what they're saying.
But that's all, well, you know, there's advantages across the board long term. Once you've done it, then it's there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is new practice play equipment. We're not really quite there yet in terms of knowing how much we've got for new projects to look at, whether we've got 60, 70 grand.
I think we need to wait.
I think we
Maybe it's not
talk
right, discussion is the opposite side of the cemetery wall as well, to make the entrance looking a bit more attractive on the north south side.
He's saying,
Yes,
We did discuss recently, but I can't recall which committee or what we said, but
Which, I was not confused.
On the north south side, which is the opposite to the chapel side.
on the Bucton Road side, they've got a very nice wall entrance on one side, but not on the other.
but that's what we could use our money for.
That would come out of cemetery projects.
The entrance that leads to the compound,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a wall on the right-hand side.
Yes.
And then it looks like they were putting dough in the bank right back for a left-hand
it
wall.
was
and then done.
preparation, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
yeah.
Can we build walls inside there?
The guy that did it was the bloke that's down Kimberley Road.
That's it, yeah.
Why was the reason we couldn't do it? Because I had to go back, because was it moved, was
Yes.
it
well,
taken away?
the
when
right hand
we-
one was done because when we widened the gate, it would have undermined the trees, so we
Yeah.
needed a retaining wall.
Yeah,
That
to
side-
go with the pillar of the
Yeah,
gate.
so it's more decorative than structural, but it's still.
We've got this money, we need,
Well, I mean, I think cemetery, I mean,
We can get a price from him.
we can get a price.
That's right, yeah.
It's, I can't think of the things he's done. He's done it.
you know that it is,
Mark Lester, that's it.
I'll leave it with you.
Yeah.
He's a real guy, he's done some work for us, he's a real class.
Yeah, definitely. Evan's boy and a
Yeah,
Ben.
they are.
Got the bricklayers.
Yeah.
He loves a chat.
He loves not the canaries, doesn't
It does.
he? Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I just want we've chased up the Cromer Road Cemetery, haven't we?
You're not in a good place at the moment.
Cromer Road
Did you
Cemetery,
change them again?
Yeah. she copied me in.
I mean, I'd like to move the cemetery forward because the decision the town council will have to take whether it wants to go to the public works level to actually pay for it, but I just need to get some indication that
We can do it,
we could do it. There's not
we
going to be,
chased it, yeah.
there's not going to be a planning objection, and that we can actually, I know we've got to go out to tell the public this is what we wish to do, but we are required to provide cemeteries.
Not required to, there are, it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement, you know.
But morally.
Bit morally,
it's silly not to.
Morally,
We don't have to, but.
So we're chasing up highways because they're the people who raise potential objections, so we
we
need to,
just need
we need to
to,
placate them before we actually submit an
we just
application.
need to get on with it.
It just takes forever, we try.
We've been trying for 18 months to get them to say,
What
Just
items?
one, yeah. One person and then they have to have a meeting and,
one person said that it should be all right, and someone else said, no, I don't think it would be all right.
I know it's gone back to the person who said it would be all right.
Yes,
That's
that's
what I
what
got
I
back to.
thought. Well,
This,
their initial objection was, you know, I think they envisaged something, you know, they were talking about HGVs and hundreds of vehicles a day, and I thought, well, you know, we get 2 burials a month or something. It's,
Well, I mean, it's a real blockage, it's Salt Penfolds area, isn't it?
yes, it's true.
It's
It's,
just council.
So it's
it's
Salt,
also, yes.
very helpful today.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And as he says, he's got 3 years there, he does have to be re-elected.
Who maintains the bus shelters at the travel hub?
We do?
Because I noticed the display board in one wasn't working the other night. I was asked.
I don't think we do that.
We don't do those.
Whose is that county?
It's county.
The digital display
It's county.
within the thing, right, okay.
Speak to, yeah, do you want me to ring or you can ring and speak to transport?
And how it is to go.
Ben, oh, can you come to?
Is that the thing that Simon's drivers would report it?
It
might not.
was
Ben
the
Harriet,
one-
display, do you know which one?
The one nearest the library, so the one furthest into.
Let's see.
See, I think.
I was going to take a photo of it.
I haven't had anybody report it.
Well, I just noticed the other night, it was, the other two were bright lit and that one's black.
Okay. I'll get Nicola to do that.
Is it? Okay, wrapping up now, 26, dated next meeting.
Wow. Would you like a meeting before we have to stand for the May meeting?
Oh,
Well, it's just like a meeting, shouldn't we?
I
Otherwise-
think we should, because if not, we won't have one till July, so I think we should have a
that's too long,
meeting
that's too long.
before, or June. I think you should have one before our May meeting.
Where are we now? Do you want one in early May then?
Just
Hang on. Don't write out checks you can't cash.
I can't do the 6th, I can do the 13th.
Yeah, I'm waiting the 5th and 9th. So,
13th, we go to
13th.
yeah, one.
Okay. Right, that's it.
Was that 19th?
13th.
Oh, sorry, 13th. All right. Could I just add water fountain on your next
Oh
agenda?
God, no, that is on my agenda. I've just got to get the Legionella done that, and then that'll be up and running, and I will have that done before summer. That is something that I've got to do, and
Okay,
I keep putting
thank you, Wendy.
it.
Therefore, that's item 27, we have to close the public part of the meeting.
Yeah. Thanks,
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Mm.
it does involve you, so if that's all right with councillors, can you James say?
So the next Tuesday, do we need to be out, or we just operate on the basis?
Oh, then. Alright, so do something on
So
that.
that goes.
See you later.
Bye bye.
Have you got to leave?
Do you want me to shut this door?
Yeah, yeah. And if you come to,
See you later. There we go. That was that.